welcome to this next episode of Your Music, Your Story. We're out with Chuck Wagon and Corona. We're talking with Isaac and Dennis from Circle City Punks. How's it going?
Good.
Good.
Thanks
How you doing?
Well, we're here to party. So we'll just get started. Where'd Circle City Punks start from?
So it started about a year and a half ago, right here in this very room here at Chuck Wagon. And so this was probably the first night out in a while, and I saw there was a Misfits cover band playing here, and my buddy hit me up, and we came down to check it out. And Dennis was actually here that night DJing, and he was doing a punk set. And I thought it was such a badass idea to see it, because honestly, I don't think I've ever seen anybody DJ punk music. Yeah. And so I was watching Dennis do a set and then watching the band play, and kind of just, I was like, this is what Corona needs again, like a punk scene, like just a whole resurgence. And, you know, everybody knows, it locally knows the whole history behind, you know, the Showcase Theater, and that's, you know, long gone now. And it's, at this point, it's like, what do we do next? You know, what's Corona got going on here now? And it's kind of all over the map. It's been pretty quiet for probably about over a decade and a half now. And so when I was here that night, I just was inspired. I was like, this is what we need. We need music back in Corona. And if we're not going to have a Showcase Theater anymore, it needs to happen anywhere at any time with all the people that we can bring together. And so it kind of like took a couple nights, and I met him that night, and the idea just spawned right there in this very room. Yeah.
All right.
Hell yeah.
And we're both Corona boys.
Yep.
And that's Circle City. It's Corona. So, and of course, punk rock scene doesn't always necessarily have to be punk.
Yeah.
Because I'm also in a reggae band, but we do have influences, of course.
Yeah.
Rancid, you know, Operation Ivy, all that. It's part of our influences. We even cover them. But yeah, that night I do all the booking here for Chuck Wagon. I wanted a punk night, and what better way than bring the Misfits tribute band? They're one of the best ones too in LA.
Yeah, they were really good.
They're really good, and stage presence, everything.
That night was awesome. It was just me and a bunch of overweight guys drunk here and trying to start a pit. We couldn't even finish a song.
I need to stop.
Yeah.
I need a break.
I don't think any of us finished an entire song. We all got winded.
Can you slow that
and took
down
breaks.
a bit?
So after that, I started doing on Wednesday nights. We started doing pop punk emo nights here, and we went inside in the bar area. And that's when he came in too.
Yeah.
He had his actual first meeting to bring this to life.
Yeah.
And he approached me then, and
That's right. Yeah, he started the emo nights, and I came back for emo night, and that's when I talked to him and told him, I was like, this is it. This is what I started. It's going to be a legit thing called Circle City Punks, and that's kind of, I shared with him the idea and what we were going to do, and I just wanted it to be, you know, not confined by a building. I was like, it's just going to be like a brotherhood, sisterhood, all about shows and music and getting everybody a culture, a community, like everybody in and around Corona who are, you know, men, women, kids, families, and you know, all my shows that I've thrown are all ages. So like, I really want it to be a community of locals that enjoy punk music, hardcore music, and all the spin-offs, your emo, and just keep going on with that, and just bring us together and know, like, hey, there are people like you around here. And because for a minute there, I mean, I felt like I didn't really have a community here in Corona, and you know, me and my best friend, my wife, we go out of town all the time to like LA or Orange County for punk shows, and I got kind of tired of that. I was kind of burned out spending my money in different cities. And
I want to do it here.
Yeah, I was like, why not Corona?
Do it here, where it's kind of not started, but we had the Showcase, and then they closed 25 years ago, and it was kind of cool that he wanted to bring that to life, you know. And me, I kind of bring that pop punk emo feel too. I mean, 20 years ago, I remember when if someone called you emo, it was kind of a negative connotation.
You're so depressed.
But now it's like we own it, like Elder Emos. That's why I started Elder Emo Apparel. And just to be in the scene, and like, you know, I've been in bands my whole life basically, and I've always put together shows, and you know, we kind of put that formula together, and he's actually been kicking ass doing it on his own the last few times with storytellers and stuff.
Yeah, I've been getting to work. I've been keeping Dennis up to date on everything going on, and I'm always trying to find ways to bring him in and do what he does because he's so talented and he knows so many people, and he's just a great person to be around, and he's helped me out in so many ways. And we started a thing up recently in July, was our very first one. We partnered up with Storytellers Brewery here in Corona, right down the street off Maple, and so we meet there every single month. It's the first Thursday of the month, and we're there from 6 to 9 p.m. at closing time. And it's a all ages event, open to the public, free, and we do our best to get shows there, to have bands come out and play. So we've had one event with bands, and so far I booked out the rest of this year with bands. So pretty much for the whole rest of 2023, it's going to be a free show, all ages. Kids welcome.
Nice.
And it's right outside behind the brewery because they've got the big lift door, so that thing just rolls up, and there's no capacity. So we just all hang out in the back parking lot behind the brewery and just catch a free show.
So I think I talked with VCS.
Yeah.
And they had showed pictures, and that's what it looked like. It's like just behind.
Yep.
Is that it? Is that where the place is?
Yep, that's it.
Oh, nice.
It's just cornered up in an industrial building, and so
VCS.
Yeah, it makes
those
a
are friends of mine.
Nice.
Yeah, the drummer. We actually live close to each other out in Menifee. That's where I live now.
Okay. Yeah. So then Chris, they'd mentioned that something about
Chris.
someone when you were opening a new place and just
Well, I tried to book those guys for a show back in June. The whole thing fell apart, which is the business side of throwing shows. That's
Rockefellers.
I mean, if you see that, I mean, the whole business side of throwing shows. That was my first time where like my show completely fell apart. I was trying to do a mini festival right here at the city park, at the skate park, and so
I remember that.
I bit off more than I could chew. I shot for the moon, and I landed on my ass.
Nothing wrong with that.
I was hitting up a bunch of bands. They were one of the bands I hit up. I was excited to have them out, but it didn't work out. It just turned out working with the city, all the permits and fees, and it was just starting to pile up on me on the costs that it was gonna be out of my personal pocket because everything I do is at my own expense, and so it was starting to look like it was going to cost me a couple grand to throw this free event. And I was just like, I was running out of time and money and just couldn't do it. I mean, the public bathrooms at the park at that time were closed down. So the city was telling me I got to get porta potties. And I'm like, I cannot do that. 250 a porta potty. I can't do that.
And they wanted 4. Right?
Yeah,
Minimum.
But it was going to be a badass event. I had lined up so far, I think, 4 bands. I was going to have Rick Lopez from the Casualties come out and DJ. I was going to have a skate event going on. I had probably about 10 vendors at the time confirmed, like retail, like grunge, alternative punk vendors that were going to come out. And so it was really exciting to see that. And I know the idea is there now and it can happen. So it's something I'm going to revisit and one day will happen for the city. It will be a skate park festival show. But we'll get back to that. I gotta get back to the drawing board.
One question I've seen, so I'm out in Moreno Valley, and I know that a lot of times the city, I don't want to say they don't like bands or they don't like shows, but it seems like they intentionally, it seems like they put a lot of barriers in the process. So is that the same? I'm assuming the same thing out here?
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, that's why they push the showcase out.
They just
they
didn't like the
punk
atmosphere.
rock music in the city.
Yeah,
really.
So they make it a lot of obstacles and hoops to jump through.
So they say you can do it, but here's all this crap.
Yeah, they give you a lot of hurdles or hoops to jump through.
That's obnoxious.
About 20 years ago, my family, we pulled all the permits and we threw a big show at the city, but they didn't ask us for no porta potties or
they didn't care,
that at that point because the park had its own restrooms at that time.
Oh, that's dumb.
And we had Pizza Loca and all these sponsors come in and donate food and drinks, all that, and it was a free show, same thing. That's why when he mentioned that, I was on board.
Hell yeah.
But then once all the city made it impossible, and then he's telling me he's got to pay X amount of money, and it's like, yeah. And that's another, it'll evolve.
Yeah.
Eventually, this will be a nonprofit organization where we could do that.
That may be the
that'd be
best
nice.
route to go to get funding because I really try to make this for our community here locally in Corona, in and around Corona. So at this point, everything I've done has been at my own expense. So I would like to try to keep it as cheap for people, for attendees to come out, because I want families to come out. I want people to be here and to show up. So either my shows are free, like the brewery every month is a free show, and then shows like tonight, it's only $7 to get in. So I try to keep my costs, my prices low, just to encourage people to come out, and that there's something to do, and I want people to enjoy punk music again. I want my kids to grow up. I drag my kids to punk shows every single time. Anytime I see it's all ages. I mean, we go to Punk in the Park every year since it started now, and my kids love it. I mean, we're there all day in all day in the sun. The kids are running around watching punk bands. They're doing their own little pit in the back with me, and we have a good time. And so any chance I can spend with my wife and kids, I'll do that. And I know the more and more people I meet doing this, I find out there's a lot of families out there and a lot of, we're grown-ups now, still enjoying punk music and trying to get the kids into it. And so if I can have my kids meet some more kids like them and want to run around and cause trouble, then sure, why not? I'll keep doing it.
Well, I mean, hopefully that would be also a good thing with the city and working with the city, so you're not just having a bunch of teenage 20-year-olds drunk destroying stuff. I mean, it's a family event. It's just something to go and enjoy a good time.
I think I love the element that he brings with that, because we haven't seen that at all, like the family aspect. And I seen a meme on IG. It said "punk is dad" instead of dead, right?
Punk's grown up now.
Somebody spray painted it on the wall.
For me, man.
Yeah. So I love that aspect, and I still gotta bring my kid out because I have an 11-year-old son. Yeah. I want him to experience this as well, and this is where I come from. My father too, he's a professional drummer too, but in the salsa merengue world, Spanish. Nice. But because of my dad, he would store his drums in my room when I was a kid, and
So you're like, I got this.
Yeah, one day I set him up like, screw this, I'm gonna set these up and I'm gonna try it, and here we are.
That's awesome. Yeah, I just remember. I used to play in Undercover Monsters when they first started.
Wow,
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
And then before that, so I played with Dave and Todd in the Retcons.
Okay.
Years ago. And so I remember Dave, when his kid got old enough, he would start bringing them. She'd have the big old things on.
I got those for my kids for
it
tonight.
It was so cool. Like, you rarely ever see a punk show and you see someone bringing their kid.
Right.
And it was just awesome. That's an awesome idea.
Yeah, it's changed. So, any chance I can bring my kids. And they love it. They're always, usually you hear kids requesting music you'll hear on the radio. I don't think my kids have ever listened to the radio.
They come up to me, they're like, can you play Face to Face?
Yeah, my kids love Face to Face.
What? Okay. This is
a dream come
amazing.
true.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't get me started on Bro Hymn. That's their all-time favorite song.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not going to lie. Whenever that album comes up on the car, I'm like,
next.
All right, let me listen to it. Got to stop the random.
Yeah.
So what's the story on your logo here?
So the logo was actually drawn up by my older brother. He's a tattoo artist here in Riverside. He works at Envision Tattoo, and he's been a tattoo artist since it was legal for him to, since he was 18, and his dream was to become that. And so he's always been in art. He's a very good artist. And I came to him with the idea of Circle City Punks, and I gave him kind of my ideas, and I said I want the logo to be very inspired by the city of Corona. Okay. And so I shot him, the city's logo that you'll kind of see everywhere on the buses and all over town on the city website. And I shot it to him and I said, let's work with this and let's inspire the logo based off this. And so when you check it out, you'll notice the orange in the middle, that kind of pays homage to like the citrus industry that was back in the day.
Orange groves
were everywhere. Now they're leveled and this damn real estate developers can't stop.
We're not the citrus
ripping
city
out all the damn orange trees around here. And then the ring that goes around it, that black ring, if you'll notice on the city logo, it's a blue ring. And so it just represents Grand Boulevard here in
like
our city. Yeah, the
loop
circle
around here somewhere.
Yeah. So you hop on Grand Boulevard, it's a perfect circle. It'll take you
to be the
to end up where you
racetrack.
started. It was a racetrack back in the day. Yeah.
All left turns.
About 100 years ago. Yeah, they used to do races there. And so it was that, and then the crown that's in front of the skull, that's just an adaptation of the crown that's on our city's logo. So it's the same one, it's just slightly different, and then we tossed in the skull behind it to make it a little bit more punk rock. So there's three big elements into it that take into account of our city, because with the city logo, you'll see an orange in it as well. So that's why the circle in the middle is orange. So I wanted it to pay homage to the city we live in, the city I'm proud to be a part of, and where I'm trying to make all this happen. And, I'm thinking big and always coming up with ideas and what will work, and just seeing who wants to help, who wants to be a part of it. And Circle City Punks, I know it seems like an event production company, and I know it says producer promoter on the Instagram, but really I didn't start it so that it could be a company. I don't want it to be a company. I started it because I wanted it to be a community, an ethos. Like, we are all Circle City Punks here, and then they're like, you can go to any show around here and you'll know somebody because you see them every month at a show, or you'll be in Orange County, LA at a festival, and you'll run into like, oh shit, there you are.
I remember
it's
you.
good to see you out here. Like, I want us to be like a community and branch out and be knowing you have brothers and sisters you can rely on, and our kids can grow up together and share music and keep growing up with that. Because when I first found punk music, I just got obsessed, but none of my friends, nobody I was close to liked it. So I was kind of off on my own. I was in my own freaking rabbit hole discovering punk music for the first time.
There's the weird kid with the punk music.
So I think it's nice to have that.
Yeah. For me, it was Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
Pro skater?
Yeah, that whole.
Dude, that first one?
Yeah.
I think I had the soundtrack memorized.
And that's when I went down the rabbit hole, So
That's where, I still remember Superman.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
anytime that comes
The
on, dude,
nostalgia behind that one.
360.
Yeah.
exactly.
Man. Oh, I love that they threw System of a Down in there too. Was it Shimmy that was on there?
Shimmy,
Yeah,
yeah,
Shimmy.
That was a good one. Man.
Oh man, I remember wasting many times, or many hours when you should be in college, but
Yeah.
That was the best.
Right. Grind 50-50 grind.
I was not good at video games, but that game I would play.
Yeah,
I always watched my brothers. But
I did
could
it
get
for
on
the
that.
music.
Yeah.
The music was amazing.
It was an awesome one.
Yeah.
Like I've never really been a huge video game fan. Like I'll find games I like to play every now and then. That's it. But to me, that was the first one where you actually had a video game that had songs that I knew. It
Yeah.
wasn't like your program song that fit the game or whatever. It was, oh dang, you have some Suicide Squad or not Suicide Squad.
Machines.
Yeah, Suicide Machines. And
Yeah,
you have some
those guys are
Goldfinger.
bad.
It's
Yeah.
just like, oh word,
Yeah.
hell yeah,
Yeah.
Those were good
Milcon,
times.
all
yeah.
that.
It was so awesome.
And
You know what's funny? This is a little embarrassing. I think the very first CD I bought on my own, I can't even believe this is the very first one I bought, was Simple Plan. It was a Simple Plan CD of all the damn bands I bought. They had just dropped an album, so I went I saved up my lunch money instead of actually buying lunch. I was just keeping my lunch money. I went and I walked. I'd go to my mom's work every day after school, so I'd walk to Target down the street, around the corner, and I would spend my money there. And so I went and I bought the CD, and it said explicit content on the front, right? So I get home and I'm like listening to it for about a week, and then my dad finds it, and he was like, "What is this?
What is this?"
And I'm just like, "It's Simple Plan." I'm like, "It's not that bad." And he's like, "It says explicit content." So he snaps the damn CD and throws it away. I was like,
Damn.
"It wasn't that bad. It was Simple Plan."
So you related to Perfect.
Yeah, I'm like,
Hey,
the worst thing
Dad,
on there was
look
he's
at me.
crying in his room.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, out of all the things that you could have purchased, like would have been that's funny.
Yeah,
was
it
awesome.
wasn't like a leftover crack album. It wasn't a freaking Black Flag album or freaking I don't know. It wasn't a G.G. Allen album.
Yeah,
It was
right.
Simple Plan. That got snapped right in front of me.
The first CD I asked my parents to buy me was Sublime, but my dad was like, "What is this? This is gangster rap. You're a cholo. You
turn out crazy."
because it's Bradley and it's
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
in old
With
English says
Sublime on it.
Sublime, and then we threw it in the car on the way home, and then it's reggae,
And he's like,
my
"This is
mom's
cool."
like, "Oh, I like this song." So like, I always remember that, and then the first time I bought Bloodhound Gang and a Punkorama CD. Remember
Oh, wow.
Punkorama?
Yeah.
So that's one of the beginnings for me, like of punk, and then of course Tony Hawk. But
Oh, the first one I bought. Well, it wasn't punk. The first one I bought was Sepultura Rise.
oh hell,
Other than
yeah.
that, it was just getting tapes
Bloody
from everyone.
Roots.
But yeah, I remember we went and bought it, and I came home. I didn't think anyone was home, and I grew up in a Christian home, so
Same.
Sepultura
Right.
Rise ain't happening.
That's why I
So
got
we're
Simple Plan CD
hardcore
snapped.
Catholic.
I thought it was just me and my friend. So we're like, we're gonna put it on the big stereo in the living room. I crank it up. We're like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
But as Dead Embryonic Cell comes up first, you're just like, hell. And then my dad comes out. I'm like,
What is this?
he was home
racket?
early. Like, God damn it.
Oh man.
Nothing is country. It's gonna get to country eventually. This is just the start. So how many places around in Corona do you book for?
So far for me, 2. So Union Barber was where I threw my first show. So every now and then, I partner up with Brandon, the owner of Union Barbershop, where our show is tonight. So I think by the time this airs, hopefully whoever's listening for this show will, be at the show tonight and hang out with us. But yeah, so I started there, and then after that, I was kind of looking around. I tried to do Rockefellers, that didn't work out. So now I've got Storytellers. So far just those two.
Okay.
Now we're working here on Chuck Wagon, and that works out. Then we'll have three places we're doing shows.
This is a bigger venue.
Yeah, this will be the biggest.
We're literally on stage here at the Chuck Wagon. Here, my previous bands, I was in a band called Inhale, reggae, punk, rock, ska. And we still hold the record of the most people in attendance, 300 people in here.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
and
that's
with
a
the
packed
cover
house.
at the door. So it's cool.
Well,
That's
my new
why
goal is to beat that.
it's my job security, actually. Yeah, well, I'm still part of it, so thank God. But
Go team.
Yeah, go team.
so, I kind of love that, we have that record, or I'm a part of that, and like I said, it's job security.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, the layout here is so, probably the best in Corona. The layout of this room just works out very well. And so I'm really excited to see what we can put together here and see how many people we can get packed in here.
I definitely want to get Burner State. Shout out to those guys and
yeah,
Mike.
they're awesome.
Mike, the singer, he's from No Bragging Rights from 20 years ago.
Oh, nice.
And he was huge here. And then he had them play. And later on, that's when we realized who he was.
Yeah.
And we were just
Like,
blown
wait a
away.
minute.
Like,
Yeah.
wait, that's Mike from No Bragging
I didn't
Rights?
do my homework.
Yeah,
I just
neither did
booked
I.
Burner State. I knew Burner State 'cause
Yeah.
I'd seen them at Union Barber before. So I hit those guys up to see if they wanted to do the show at
blindfolded.
Storytellers. And the band shows up. They're like, yeah, we're totally down. So they come out. They're set up their gear, and Dennis is over here telling me the whole night. He's like, I know that guy from somewhere. He's
Yeah.
like, I can't figure out what it is. I was like, but I recognize him. By the end of the night, he was like, no bragging rights. That
No
was
bragging
him.
rights,
It was no
dude.
bragging rights. So I was like, all right.
These
I was
guys
like,
were on
shit.
Warped Tour. I remember
Yeah.
that before they were
I
gone on
miss
Warped
Warped
Tour,
Tour.
they were at Warped Tour passing out flyers to come see them at the
dang.
showcase. So like
Oh, that's
that's
sick.
how far
Nice.
back. I
Yeah.
remember it was like 2007 Warped Tour,
Yeah.
and they were out there passing out flyers.
Oh, I was there that year,
crazy.
2007. That was,
Yeah,
dude, I was young.
went
I was
for
like
the years, but
14
they
years
canceled.
old. Yeah, I remember that. I think I saw the Unseen there. That was my first time seeing the Unseen. That's was when I was getting really into like underground punk and really diving deep before, trying to dig deeper than all the mainstream guys, like Green Day, Blink-182, Rancid. I was really trying to get into the nitty-gritty of it and came across the Unseen and just loved those guys. And so I got to see them at Warped Tour 2007. And I saw Mark Unseen had a Twilight Zone sleeve, and that just blew my mind because me and my brothers grew up watching the Twilight Zone all the
Yeah.
time. So now I have a freaking Twilight Zone sleeve. I just loved it. And so that was a good show. That was my first time, I think, seeing the Casualties as well.
Right.
And
They were there.
I was just a kid, and I did them.
I remember seeing Paramore there, and they were,
I
they
was
were on
there.
a small stage.
Yeah, I was there for that
So,
one.
yeah.
And then the big one was, of course, Bad Religion. Pennywise
Yeah,
was there.
yeah.
I saw Pepper, Newfound Glory.
I saw Face to Face. That was a
Face
good
to
one too.
Face.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was
a
a
good time.
great year. That year was
I saw
like,
Circle Jerks,
killer.
and I remember what's his name. I can't remember.
I
the
love
singer.
how he was there. It was
His
the first
balls
time
were, like,
I
hanging out of his
even met
pants.
this, and we were both there.
Yeah, those are good times. That was my first. What do you call that shit when you're in a pit and it's like a wall of death or something? They split everybody up on two
Oh,
sides and then just run at each other and just
Oh,
beat the shit out of
nice.
each other. So I did that. I was like 15 and I was so excited. I came out of that. Like I had one of those free little cinch backpacks on me. I lost that shit. Somebody ripped it off me. It burned my arm. I had a rope burn across my whole arm.
Oh.
It took years for that scar to go away, but I had the best time of my life. I was
Right,
15.
same.
Saw the Casualties, blew my mind, man.
That's awesome.
It was a good
Yeah,
story.
I went to one Warped Tour. And the most things I remember Thrice. So this would have been,
hell
what,
yes.
2004, maybe?
I love
I just
Thrice.
remember Thrice. The only thing I could hear was the bass drum. And there was just one of their songs where he was just doing this long double bass roll. And all you just heard, and you're just like,
Yeah.
But we saw The Used. And I like
They're
The Used.
sick.
I love The Used.
Yeah.
But, not me. Jeez.
Not me.
Because he'd play the song, and you're like, woohoo! And then he'd stop. And the song's 3 minutes, 4 minutes?
Yeah.
And he'd give this 10-minute lecture on
Space.
life, and you're like,
He must have been loaded.
Get off the drugs, buddy.
and then you get into the
Especially
next
those
song.
times.
Yeah.
And he just kept going. It's like, oh,
Damn.
come on. But then the best one though, we saw Andrew WK. Oh, he put on a good show.
Nice.
Holy crap.
Oh, he was big back then.
Yeah,
too.
he was
the
huge.
jackass.
Was it?
guy.
Did he have
Yeah.
a song on Madden NFL?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he did.
It was like the one song.
Yeah.
That was good.
And it was at that show I figured out I'm a little bit too big to crowd surf.
Yeah.
The big guys in the back would put me up.
Yeah.
I'd go about 5 feet. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
Let me try again.
Yeah.
Go up and it did. Bleh.
Yeah.
Well, I
man.
guess I'm done. I don't want to lift my 200-something pound
Yeah.
person.
My favorite is watching people crowd surf and they finally make it to that area where there's nobody and then they just drop.
Fucking fall. Yeah.
I'm like, damn, I feel bad for those people.
Yeah.
Good times. Good
Yeah.
times.
Great times.
I love shows, man.
Yeah.
Love going.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going next week to see Y-Fest.
Okay.
2 weeks. Yeah, see Y-Fest in downtown LA at the Belasco. And that's all ages too, so that's cool. I think it's Nacho Corrupted, his group.
Oh, wow.
At Nothing Less Bookings is doing that one, and so it'll be my first time going to one of their events. So I'm pretty stoked, and it's me, my wife, and my kids. We're all gonna go, and all the bands there. They're all like underground punk, and so I think
Okay.
the headliner is Slaughter and the Dogs, and so and there's 2 stages going from 1 to 11, so it's going to be a big day, a bunch of bands, and I just love it, being able to go to LA and connect with that part of the scene and see what they're all about, because it's been a while since I've been to any like downtown LA shows or anything, and so pretty stoked to see what they got going on out there.
Yeah. And we're going to We Were Young in October.
Yeah. Me and Dad, we're both heading out to Vegas in October to go to the
Yeah.
When We Were Young Fest. So
Nice.
we're gonna see what that's what's going on out
That'll
there.
be fun.
The lineup there is insane. It's
Super.
every band in that era you could imagine.
Right.
And
So
when
I
is
don't know
this?
how we're gonna see them.
October 22nd
Yeah, and
is
the
when we're
23rd.
going. It's a Sunday.
Yeah.
But there's day 1 and day 2, but they're the same bands, same
Yeah.
lineups.
Oh, they just play twice, so
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
2 different lineups?
Right.
It just so happened we booked the same day, so we're actually gonna get to hang out
Yeah,
now.
hang out,
and be at the
chill.
show together. So
And where's it going to be at in Vegas?
I think it's the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
It's by the Aria, right?
yeah,
Right
it's
next
over
door.
there in downtown, like near
It's in
downtown.
downtown still.
Yeah. So it's not like way off the strip. It's nearly on the strip. So it's gonna be a pretty good setup where we're gonna be. So I'm
Yeah.
stoked. I'm even more excited to get out there and finally look at the Punk Rock Museum. I've been
Right.
following that since they were constructing that building, and I've been waiting for it. And I'm really bummed we didn't go to Punk Rock Bowling this year because my wife and I have been trying to go to that for so long. The first year we were going to go was, of course, 2020. And so we ended up not getting to go. We got
Yeah.
refunded all of our tickets and everything. So we didn't get to go. And this past year, a couple months, the one they had about back in May, so like 4 months ago, just looked insane. Like everybody's back. Everybody was there. The crowds were massive. All the side shows were packed out. The pool parties were packed out. And Punk Rock Museum had just opened in April the month before, so like every big name possible was doing guided tours there, and
Yeah.
that place was packed out with fans, and
But
that was the best weekend you could go to the
explain
Punk Rock
us,
Museum.
though, do you really bowl? Are you bowling?
There is a bowling contest, but nobody bowls. I don't think
Okay,
anybody. There are
like,
some
why is
people
it
there.
Punk Rock
I don't know who it
bowling?
is, but there are
I'm
some
very
people there
interested.
who
Is
bowl.
it cosmic bowling?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I don't know. With
Someone
a
started
stage
the
right
bowling
there,
part,
like
yeah.
bowling. Steve, right?
Yeah, I don't know who started the bowling part, but I'm pretty sure there is a bowling contest going on that nobody's there. No one's there.
No one knows about.
Yeah, no one knows about, but it's there, and everybody else is watching the show all weekend and then trying to catch all the bands in between. Because I think what's more exciting than the festival is probably all the side shows that are going on, because you can spend
Yeah.
$20 and go see a couple bands that aren't actually in the festival, but they're playing all the dive bars all around Vegas. And what's better than fucking Vegas dive bars?
Right.
And so this is what me and my wife live for when we go down there. So. We're going to try to go next year for Punk Rock Bowling for the first time, and so
Count me
we're
in.
both going to go too. So
Yeah.
I'm very stoked for that. It's going to be awesome. But yeah, we'll be down there in October. We're going to go to a When We Were Young Fest, and we're going to check out Punk Rock Museum and see. Hopefully, we get somebody good who's doing the guides and doing the tours there. So I think that'll be cool.
Start this over again. See if it
Yeah.
make sure it keeps
Go for
going. Oh yeah, that'll be. So I work for the Air Force, and I have to go out to Nellis, which is in Vegas, every 3 months. But I was up there for last month, and I kept thinking, I'm like, oh, dude, I need to go to the Punk Rock Bowling after work. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Yeah, I'll do it on the weekend.
Yeah.
And then finally, I'm like, I never went.
Yeah.
Keep thinking.
Well, one of the problems nowadays with these festivals is they're just too expensive, and I can't stand it. I mean, me and my wife paid an arm and a leg to go see Blink-182 in San Diego.
Oh my God, I heard they're
We
expensive.
just went, you know, the show they did in at the Pachanga Theater or Pachanga Arena, and but I mean, it was badass because my wife hadn't gotten to see them before, and I think I've seen Blink twice. So, you know, I wanted to go all out for her and like make the most of it. So we were right there on the front rails in front of
you
Mark
were up there?
Hoppus.
No.
Yeah,
Oh,
when I say an arm and a
wow.
leg, I mean an arm and a
Nice.
leg. We were on the front rail in front of Mark Hoppus the whole night, and so
That's the
she
spot.
had the best time of her life. And I think it was our first time coming out of a concert sober because we didn't want to lose our spot. Like usually we get trashed at every concert we go to.
And then
but
you're like, where the hell am I at?
hands down did not want to lose our spot, so we stayed on that rail and we came out sober. We had to pay for an Uber for no reason.
It was awesome.
Yeah, that sucked. But no, but so
It was
yeah, you
worth
pay
it,
so much,
for
and all these
sure.
festivals now are hundreds of dollars a ticket. I mean,
Yeah.
So when I decided to start throwing shows, I didn't want to go that route and be greedy. I'm like, I can't stand all the fees that they
Right.
cost. I mean, nowadays fees are as much as a ticket, and so
Yeah.
I wanted it to be cheap and like to encourage people to come out and be a part of the shows. And as we get bigger and throw bigger shows, I don't know how I'm going to handle that. So we'll see. I would like to do my best to keep the shows. And I think that's why Dennis brings up the point about maybe going nonprofit. Like if we can subsidize some of the money and get it from other sources and not have to like try to be for the revenue and for profit, I think maybe that could help us get us some funds to pay for these bigger bands that'll draw more people out. And you know, I was just at the Santana Park for 4th of July this year, and they had a stage built up there and some bands playing. And me and my
Huge
wife were
production.
looking at it, and all we were talking about and could picture was like a punk rock festival here in Corona
At Santana
Park. And when you're sitting on that hill looking at the stage, it is like a surreal backdrop, like a view. You go all the way to Mount Baldy. You see Norco, Ontario, all the way to the mountain way out there, and it was just picture perfect. And I'm like, could you imagine seeing like Face to Face and like Pennywise, those bands playing right there here in Corona? Like that would blow my mind if we ever got to that point. I think
be awesome, though.
I think I'd cry. I'd probably just go around shaking everybody's
Right.
hand, like thank you for coming to this and being a part of it. Because I mean, that'd be beyond my wildest dream.
Even like Riverside Corona bands, like Alien Ant Farm.
Yeah,
Do they even play anymore?
They do. They're starting to play, and
Yeah.
I know the drummer Mike, and it's full circle because I named my son after the singer Dryden Mitchell.
Really?
Yeah, and then I got to finally
I
met
didn't know that.
Dryden, talked to him about it. And he was, at that time, he had his fiance, and he was like, "Babe, you hear what this guy said? And what? He named his kid after me." And she's like, "Why would he do that?" And it was great, and then just to hang out with those guys. But I've been trying to get them to come here and do like a show here, but like a you know,
Like a down low.
a secret show. Exactly.
Nothing
Just
is cooler
announce
than
it
being
2
like
days.
it's an underground secret
Right.
location. DM for address.
Right, like and I think I could do it. So
Ask a punk.
when he's saying yeah, ask a punk. That's gonna be our app.
Yeah.
But to do something like that, I think it's possible. And he's already been talking to big people. Like,
Yeah. Oh,
he
I'm on the phone
surprises
every
me.
day.
His persistence is what's gonna drive this movement for sure.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
I love it because I'm not in it for the money. I don't do it for any reason other than it's what I love to do. You know, I have my regular job, and it pays for all this, and I work hard by day, and then I work hard at night, but talking to
Right.
bands and trying to see who I can round up. And the worst thing people can tell you is just no. Like,
Yeah.
so I shoot for every band I can get. I was even trying to get. I try to get was the Vandals to come out here. I shot real big. I didn't get any response. I was hitting up a bunch of bands. We were trying to do a show back in April, and I was going big for that one. And so I was hitting up all these booking agents, and I was going for big bands, just trying to get quotes and see what they would shoot me back for, and seeing if I could swing it. And you know what? And like I said, worst thing you can say is no. And so either they don't respond or they just say no, and like it's not going to work out. And that's cool. Like I'm like, all right. And I just say thanks I at least tell them thank you for letting me know, like responding
Yeah.
for first and foremost, because you know, they don't have to. And so when they do, you know, it blows my mind. So that way at least get the
I know we
conversation
could get
going to see
Voodoo.
who else we can
We
get.
could get Voodoo.
I'm trying to go for bigger, bands like Voodoo Glow Skulls. I want Pulley to come out here. I want to get
just those two right there.
Strung Out to come out here. Like there's a bunch of
Are they
bands
still-
that are
I didn't
local.
even know
They're
they're still
still
playing.
playing. I've seen Strung Out a couple times now.
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, bass. That would be good to get out here. I'm a big fan of the Casualties personally. I would love to get the Casualties out here to play in Corona. And actually, I tried them, but they're not doing any tours this year. So they're pretty low key right now. I think they only have a couple shows that they were doing, and they were finishing up a tour. And then the rest of this year, they were going pretty quiet. So I told their booking agent I'd hit them up later, so I might get them for another show
So
down the road.
which I need to talk. So I'm glad we're talking about this. I haven't told you, so I could get Di and Agent
Oh,
Orange
sick. Okay.
and the Angry Samoans.
That would be awesome.
So
Are
just
they?
those,
I didn't even know they were playing
they're
anymore.
still around. They're still playing. VCS played with them.
Di.
Really?
Yeah. And it was in like Hemet somewhere. Yeah. Like, what the hell?
So when I got recording stuff, I did Soto Street.
Oh, yeah.
And the bass player was from the Angry Samoans. And I just thought, at that point, they'd stopped. And then it was like a year later, we went to go rent a car. And I think it was the guitar player. He was renting a car. And yeah, we were just talking about it. I completely thought they were done. I didn't think they were playing anymore.
No,
But of course, that
they're
was
still
15 years
playing.
ago. That's awesome.
They're still playing,
I did
yeah.
not know that. That'd be a cool show.
So I think we could do that. And this would be a great little
Yeah.
venue. And then I see that in a year. If we could get that going
Yeah.
in Santana Park, woo. But then now we are dealing with the Corona.
Oh yeah, then we got to deal with the city. Yeah,
again.
I mean, it's not like they're the people I've talked to that work for the city. They were really cool about the idea. Like I told them when they asked me what the idea was, I was a little nervous to tell them it was going to be a punk rock mini festival at the park, thinking they were going to be like, we don't want that here in our city. But they were like. The person I was talking to was like, I love the idea. They're like, let's do it. Like skate park and punk music, like totally, I'm down. So he was helping me out, getting the ball rolling on that. But it's just the paperwork, all the damn paperwork you got to go through to get it done legit, to make sure the city knows about it, the police department knows about it, and everything's in order. There's just so much that goes into it. You got to take into account. So planning ahead of time, you really have to plan far in advance for that.
It's a production.
Yeah, it is a production full on, and so. That was a wake-up call for me, just like the very first show I threw. That was a wake-up call
You really
for me.
did go big
Oh,
for the first one.
That was the
Trial
first
and
kind of
error.
festival I tried to do, but my very first show I threw, that one was also another wake-up call for me. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was just kind of like, I'm just gonna throw a damn show. So
How
I
hard
just
can this be?
started hitting up a bunch of bands and booking. Like I said, I go big, man. It's a fucking problem of mine. I always bite off more than I can chew, and then I just roll with it and see what I can make happen of it. So I throw that show, and I'm like super stoked about it. I pay a couple bands to come out, and I dropped the ball. I didn't market. I didn't put any money into marketing. I was just trying to do social media marketing. So I'm looking at it. I probably have like 50 followers on Instagram at that point. Like it's all my family and friends.
Okay, I'll follow
Yeah,
him. I know
I'm
him.
like trying to promote it, and I'm like super excited. I go to the
Which
bank
follow
and
us on Instagram.
Yeah.
Circle City Punks.
I run to the bank and I pull out like a couple $100 in like small bills for like door money in case people need change. And I'm sitting at the door all night, and I think only people that showed up was friends and family, and then I think maybe less than 5 people that I didn't know actually came for the show. And I'm looking at the whole night, and I was just like, "Damn, this sucked." I was like, "But the band's played.
that's good,
Everybody had a
though.
good time. We still got drunk, and it was what it was. But it just like totally woke me up. I was like, there was a lot more work to be involved in this that I got to do. So I stepped it up on my next show, and the next show after that sold out, and it was just completely packed, and I had to start turning people away. And it was a really good show, and shout out to Skullcrack. Those guys were awesome and packed out the place, and it was a really good show that night, and I was pretty stoked to have them come out here because I was a big fan of them personally before I even started throwing shows. And then just hit them up and just said, "Hey, you guys down to come out here?" And they were on board, so they came out and did a show for me, and that was a really good time. I got trashed that night. I was so excited that so many people came. I got wasted.
Best night ever.
I'm there working the
Celebrated.
door, and I'm getting wasted. Forgot I was working.
You didn't change.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, just get in
Take
here.
it.
Yeah.
Just go, man. Just go.
You're like-
Just go.
like, the guy selling tickets is like, we're here right now. Just go in. I think he's on a bathroom break.
So if let's just say you get a voodoo or strung out or any of those, where would you want to do that? Would you do it here, or do they have show capacity? I don't want to say limits, but bigger places they want to play, or they're just wherever?
They're pretty down to earth, I feel like, those guys. I would do it here.
Just whatever their contract, requires.
Like we want a room with X amount of size or anything, or
Well, here I know, again, like 300 easily can fit here because those windows open up.
Yeah.
Oh, then you just
Yeah,
go right
so
on
if you're
the
on
patio.
that patio,
It
you
goes
could-
from here to
all
the
those windows
patio.
open up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Right. It's a whole another environment. At night, this place turns into something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
All
one
the
thing that's
lights.
nice. It's Southern California, so I mean, even during the winters, you can still
Yeah.
do some
Right.
good stuff.
See, I'm very appreciative of the people who are taking care of me. So I would like to bring the show here.
That'd be nice.
It's our little community. It's our little yin and yang what we got going on here, and it just works for us. And I don't want to try to like push it out anywhere else to people who aren't taking care of us. And so this is Dennis's home right here. This is where he's booking. So if I can get bands to play here and it puts more money in his pocket and helps him out and with what he's doing around here, then I very much appreciate that. And I'll keep booking shows at Union Barber and keep booking shows at Storytellers. The owner Randy, just a wonderful guy, so nice, so down to earth. When I reached out to him about starting my meetup, he was totally on board. I was a little nervous about the whole calling it a punk rock meetup once a month, and I didn't know what they were going to think of it and if they were going to totally like judge it off the bat, like it was going to be a bunch of punk people coming in here and tearing up the place. And I saw they have a thing on their website that you can organize a meetup there as often as you want. Just email him and let him know what your pitch is. And so I just shot him an email and said, my name's Isaac. I run Circle City Punks, and I'm just looking for a place to have a steady meetup and just invite the locals of Corona to come every single month and hang out at the brewery and support how we can and your business. And we'll do Thursday nights, so that way it's not your general night on like a Saturday or Sunday, and we're not disturbing everybody else in the community that doesn't like punk rock music. I was like, maybe Thursdays will work out, and let's shoot for that. And Colin, he totally on board. He loved the idea. He was like, I love punk rock music. He was like, let's do it. So we set up our first one, and it's been fun since then, and just keeps going bigger. And I'm excited because we're there to support the brewery, and so far, we got families coming out, and so and it's like everybody's respecting the place and taking care of the brewery. I haven't seen anything bad yet, and I hope it stays that way. And it just seems like we've got a good crowd that comes out every single month, takes care of the place, and they're buying beer. Randy always brings out food.
Oh, nice.
So like a food truck or food vendor, so that helps me out. So I don't have to worry about booking a vendor for food. He does it on his own. So we've got some nights where there's pizza or there's tacos, and other trucks come up. And so I want to take care of Storytellers Brewery and keep coming back and support them. And
I
union
think
any chance I
last
can get.
month was probably the best turnout.
Yeah,
for sure.
that was insane.
We were both like, dude, there's a lot of people here, bro.
Yeah. That was the Fallen Legacies and Burner State show.
Yeah.
Fallen Legacies, they're tearing it up. They got a couple shows, and then coming up these few weeks, and then Burner State as well. They just launched an album, and so they're doing really well right now. But when we booked them, I was really surprised. I didn't know what to expect. That was our first show at Storytellers, and I just wasn't sure what to expect. So it turned out really, really well, and so many people came out. I got trashed that night again.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm noticing a
I
pattern.
have a bad problem, man.
He celebrates early.
I celebrate a lot.
Yeah, that's pretty. I mean, yeah, I definitely have to go out because I'm thinking about it. I started playing in bands, 90 something, early 90s, and I can count on one hand how many shows actually had food, and that number is 0.
Yeah.
So you guys are throwing shows with good bands,
vendors.
and you got food there.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
and they're
awesome.
free.
Yeah, that's
Bring your kids
awesome.
with you. Get
Yeah,
some good
bring the
beer.
kids.
Yeah, good beer and good food. Hell yeah.
So apart from, like, for example, when you did the one at the park and dealing with the city, what are some other struggles that you run into when it comes to booking shows?
God, I guess it's the logistics of it, there's a lot going on. And you got to kind of keep tabs on who you're talking to and what dates you're booking. You don't want to overbook. And then, like, I haven't done it yet, so thank God. But I've almost done it to where I almost got too many people confirming for the same date. And to where I would have had to been like, you know what? I'm sorry, but I can't. I got to kick you off because I've already booked this band. So I try to give enough advance to where I give a little bit of a window to where, like, hey, if you haven't responded to me in like a week, I think you probably aren't very interested. So I try to follow up and be like, I'll hit them up with the first response, and usually it's always like, that sounds cool, I'm gonna hit up the band and let you know. So I'll wait a couple days and then I'll hit them up again, just said, hey, just want to follow up, how are things going, does it look like it's gonna work out? And I'll wait another few days, and at that point then I kind of like roll the dice and move on. And so far so good. Nothing really terrible has happened yet. And I learned a lot about like gear though, and like the back line. I've always been just such a fan of music, and I play guitar, and I've always played at home, never really been in a band, but I love music, and so I play guitar. But when people, I remember the first time I was asked about the back line, they're like, what's the back line for the show? And I was like, what the hell's a back line? I was like, what's a back line?
I got PA. That's it. I got to bring their amps. So that's what they're asking.
Yeah, so then there I go again, doing my homework. So then I jump on the internet and I start looking up what's a back line. And I'm like reading all the gear, what it meant. And I was like, okay. So then I got back to the band. I was like, there is none.
Your answer, none.
There is none. There's a PA and two mics.
Which now, because we learned that with that show, so now I know I need to bring more PA. We need monitors. Yeah. We need, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So like here, for example, you have some, or are these what you bring?
Right. No, this is the house PA. So they have a great PA here at the Chuck. There's always 2 monitors, and I bring my monitor. So the drummer, because I'm a drummer, you always got to make sure the drummer has a monitor. So but we learned that. And then especially in a smaller setting like Storytellers, because it's kind of a backyard party kind of sense. We did need at least one monitor, so they could hear the vocals coming back, So,
that's not punk.
Right. Well, exactly. Also, it was a punk element too, which was great. And then, honestly, that night, Mike from A Burner State, or No Bragging Rights, came out to me. He's like, thanks for making me sound good, dude. You made me sound good. Because I stood behind my DJ screen, and I would like give him more echo on certain parts. When he'd scream, I'd give him little effects. So it makes a difference, the sound guy. Yeah, and I know that. Especially, that's your other member of the band, And they could press the suck button, or they could help you out.
Yeah.
I remember we pissed one sound guy off. So 90% of the bands I ever played in was all drums. Now there was a few that I played bass in, but we played at some. I think it was like a pool hall in Riverside off like Magnolia or something in Tyler.
All right.
I don't know
somewhere
what you're talking
over
about.
there.
I forgot the corner pocket.
I think so. I think that's what it was. So, it was the retcon, so it was just Dave, Todd, and me. And so Dave would always be like, dude, we want you to sing. I'm like, no, I don't want to sing. Anyway, so the sound guy, Dave's like, yeah, dude, get our drummer, Mike. He's going to be singing. And he was so pissed. What the hell am I getting a drummer a mic for? And Dave's like, come on. He just totally talked him into it. He was pissed. He brought it over, and I'm just like, I don't know if I'm going to be singing. And he's like, this dude better sing like an angel for all this.
Yeah.
Didn't use it once.
Oh, shit.
Just for banter.
Just the middle finger while he's driving.
But, well, that's awesome. So, just last, one question I have for you. So, Undercover Monster, so their drummer couldn't do it. This was back in October. So, Dave hit me up and said, hey, can you fill in? And I'm like, we're going to play at a barber shop? What the hell is this? So, anyway, we get over there, and I'm like, okay, this is a small place with apartments right above it.
Yeah. It's a cement box.
Like, is there, you haven't, I'm just thinking, man, it's a nice neighborhood. There's got to be people that are angry that, what are these punks? Or you just haven't had any problems with it?
We just have not had any problems with it. Brandon, so the owner of the spot, shout out to him, Brandon and Union Barber Shop. He's taken care of me since I started Circle City Punks. He is like, he's like the rebirth. you know, you could say I'm doing my thing over here, but I really think Brandon is probably the one that's causing the revival of the scene in Corona. Like, there's no place in Corona like Union Barber. He used to play back in the
He
day.
was part
what
of
band
the
was it?
scene. He was into Something Beautiful.
Yeah, and he used to play
I went to high
showcase.
school with these guys. And his drummer Jeff, by the way, another Jeff.
Yeah.
Badass.
Yeah.
He was the only guy that could do the thrice sucking beat.
Yeah.
You know, and at that time. And yeah, so
I mean,
Brandon, he was great vocalist, heavy screams.
Yeah. I mean, he knows
awesome.
everybody in the hardcore
Yeah.
scene. Like he books a lot of hardcore shows there, but he used to play showcase back in the day.
All the
and so
time.
when he opened up the
Pack it.
Union Barber Shop, he turns it into a venue at night. But I mean, he does everything. He does punk shows, hardcore shows. He does reggae nights. He does comedy nights. It literally is a mini venue, and
nice.
he's just like, sliding under the rug with the city and trying to get his permits to become like a legitimate, spot to where he can do every single night just fine. And he hasn't really had much problems other than some of the big hardcore shows where too many people come out and then they're just like packing the parking lot, and then
Turns into anarchy.
Cops know about it now, so every now and then they'll roll through. So even on my shows, I've seen the cops come through the parking lot. They don't do anything. They just kind of just roll through and just see how the crowd looks. And so far, it seems like the place is running pretty well. No issues there, but it is like a legit cement box in there. So the sound doesn't hit the neighbors upstairs to us. Like the ceiling in there's probably about another 10 to 15 feet before the first floor of the first residences. So I was talking to Brandon about the sound. And when you see those ceiling tiles in there's about a 15-foot gap of nothing. And then it's the first floor, and it's all cement. So
Okay,
it's
hell
a
yeah.
box of cement. So that's why when the kids come, we tell them bring those earmuffs because their ears will be blown out. So I've got some for my daughter tonight for the show. So super stoked to see Undercover Monsters again, and we're going to see Cadaver Pudding for the first time. They're buddies, so I'm stoked for those
cracked me
guys to
up.
come out.
Manual
I
Fade.
saw you interviewed Manual Fade and Cadaver Pudding and
dude,
Undercover
I love that
Monsters.
shit.
I listened to all
Look
three of
at
those
that
episodes.
shit.
They were hilarious. I was cracking up listening to those guys. Cadaver Pudding, they're new on my radar. I just
They're-
found out from them when I was booking
yeah.
this show, and I keep showing everybody that, man. They crack me up.
Comedy.
They're so funny.
It's Blink-182 times 10.
Yeah,
dude.
they're hilarious. Man to Gland Combat. I can't get over that damn song. I'm like, you think you're going to war, but like, bro, you ain't going to war. Like, you're in the bathroom and that bottle of Jergens right there.
Exactly.
And then Manual Fade, my buddies there. You got Ian and JB. I love those guys. I met them after I started Circle City Punks, and I forgot. We met through Instagram, and JB, I think I was talking to him first about. He was telling me their
Super
story.
cool guy, yeah.
Really cool guy, and I love what they're doing. And when I first heard their music, I like started showing my wife and my best friend and his wife, and I was like, these guys are just awesome. I was like, they just have such a solid sound, and so. When I listened to your podcast with them and I found out about the first album, the EP and all that, and I was like, okay, I get it. Like they put some quality behind that first EP and their album, and I'm so stoked to see what they do, and I'll keep supporting those guys every way I can. And our opening band tonight's Mind of My Own. They don't have any music out yet on Spotify or anything, so it's been hard to like share their music. But I do want everybody to come out and check them out because even though they're opening, they're like not to be missed. Like they grew up working with JB, and they have a lot of history of playing, and like they know what they're doing. And I caught them a couple weeks back at Crawley's right here off Pierce Street in Riverside, and they killed it. And they're such a good band, and I'm super stoked for everybody to see them. Like I don't want to underestimate those guys. Like everybody needs to come out and check it out. Like they're good. I can't wait to see what they keep doing.
That's totally awesome. So at this point, do you have bands like, let's say somebody does want to play at Union Barber or whatever?
Yeah.
Would they go talk with them? Would they come talk to you, or do you have people hitting you up say, "Hey, can we play on a show somewhere?"
Both, yeah. So all that. So you can go straight to Brandon directly and ask him to do a show, and he does shows on his own too. So he might organize his own show and throw it there. If anybody wants to go through me, then it's a Circle City Punks event, and I'll start organizing it and getting it together. And I really like it when bands hit me up and say, "Hey, I have friends who are in another band and want to play the bill." And I'm always open for that because
nice.
it just brings more people to the event. And so that's kind of how it worked out with Undercover Monsters and Cadaver Pudding. Undercover Monster told me about Cadaver and said they want to play. So I was like, perfect, bring them on board. That's just, more camaraderie, bigger group, and more fans coming out. So that happens. And I also have people who just hit me up on Instagram and just say, hey, we're looking for a show in Corona. If you have anything coming up, can we jump on the bill? And so I have my notes in my phone, that little notes app in my phone. You should go through that thing. It's just full of notes over the past year and a half.
Yeah, you should see mine
bands and like contacts, like everything, like what kind of style. I have like by genres of punk, like subgenres of punk.
Oh, dear.
On what? Yeah, I have it between like pop punk, hardcore punk, street punk. I got all these genres, like, you know, how it'll fit, and like, and also based by like price range, like who I think will cost me, who might pay for free. And I go through that, you know, I'm always on my phone at night looking at that and like thinking, okay, I haven't hit that band up in a minute, I should see if they're free. And I talk to them and see if, you know, if it works out. And so I do my homework and keep my notes, man, for sure. I gotta stay organized.
Maybe I need to shadow you because I'm doing this number. Hey, I think I hit those guys up a while ago. Let me see.
Yeah.
I've been so scatterbrained with it. I'll just. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, I hit those dudes. Ah, damn it.
Yeah, it's fun. I really genuinely, I love it. I love what I do, and it's for free. And, you know, I wouldn't want it any other way. It's you know, and I don't have to, there's no pressure for me to like keep doing it. I do it because I love it. And, you know, when I want to throw a show, I throw a show. I think now the only like obligation is maybe the once a month meetups at Storytellers. But I mean, who doesn't want to go hang out at a brewery and like just kick it with friends? And like if bands don't come, then we do what we do and we just hook up on the speaker and we just
karaoke,
just DJ karaoke. You know
I'll
what it is?
set up. I'll do a DJ set,
and that's it. And we'll just keep it chill.
Yeah, keep it chill. And
if we don't have bands, at least we're all together.
requests?
Yeah.
If we don't have bands, at least we're all together and we're hanging out having beers and we have dinner. You know, the food truck pulls up and we have dinner together and we're just, that's what I want it to be about. You know, we're a community, we're a family, and you know, you'll see my meetup, my motto is family, friends, and punk rock. Like that's what I want it to be and continue to be that way. And just, you know, like why can't we just hang out and have beers and listen to our favorite type of music,
family,
man?
friends, and punk rock.
Yeah.
So what day is that? What Thursday is that of the month?
The first
Every
Thursday.
first Thursday.
Every month, yeah. So,
Yeah, we'll have to check that
so
out.
if you find yourself, it's the first Thursday every month, you don't know what to do that night, show up to Storytellers and we will be there.
Family,
Can we bring a dog?
You can bring a dog. I
Friendly.
was
You can
about
bring
to say that.
Bring your cat,
Dog
bring your
for-
turtle, your fish, bring whatever you want.
Yeah, 'cause my daughter or my wife's daughters are in college now, so we got a dog.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, dogs are
now,
welcome. Yeah.
Now that's what. Can we go here? Nope, they don't take dogs.
Yeah, and Chuck Wagon is dog friendly too.
Oh, it is.
We give
Oh,
you,
I didn't know
yeah,
that.
we have bowls. We give you food, all that.
Oh, that's good to
I'm gonna
know.
have to
So
start
by the
selling
bring
way,
my
come
dogs
to
with
Chuck
me here now.
Wagon. Say hello.
Dang.
I'm always here.
Now I don't have to listen to my
Wednesdays
dogs
and
cry when I
Thursday,
leave.
Fridays.
But then you have to bring them.
Yeah.
And watch out for them.
Yeah, shout out to Chuck Wagon. I'm really stoked that Dennis is back here and doing what he does. And I think there's big things to come for Chuck Wagon and Circle City Punks and Corona in general and the shows we're going to be doing here. I mean, it's not just punk rock. Like, that is the name behind it, but I do want to still keep branching out. Like, I want other people to come out here and, you know, do what we can to support people that want to play. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Hey, I mean, best of luck to you. I mean, I know it's tough. A lot of like you talked about too, like the city. There's a lot of hurdles. It seems like when it comes to punk.
Yeah.
I mean, which I kind of understand. I know there was, you know, back in the '90s, it kind of
stigma.
yeah, because some didn't turn out.
Reckless and dirty. And
But at the same time, it's like you're saying now, a lot of them we're all older now.
Yeah.
we're dead.
If I could, I would do my own little version of House of Blues here in Corona. I think I would love to do that,
Absolutely.
man. Like a
That's so
legit
cool.
venue with, you know, some food, a little 2-story venue
Awesome.
there overlooking the stage. Man, I think that'd be my dream right there.
There you go. It's the future. It's
Yeah.
coming.
Hell yeah.
So,
All right. Well, good luck. Thanks for joining me. I hope the best wishes in all you're doing, and we'll have to keep up and have to show up to your storytellers and have a party.
yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely. Thanks for coming out here. I appreciate
Thank
the
you,
drive
yeah.
out to Corona.
Absolutely.
I'm excited you're coming to the show tonight. You're my honorary guest, so we're gonna have a good time tonight. So appreciate it.
All right. Well, you guys have a good afternoon or evening, I guess it is.